Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Ariana, and the 49ers just had a reality check. Coming into this game, they were 6-3, and I feel like that left fans and maybe even some 49ers players thinking that this team was better than it is. 49ers coming into this season had the easiest schedule in the NFL. Since week 3, the 49ers have one lost every single week since week 3. Week 4 loss, week 5 win, week 6 loss, and so on. So every other game has been a loss and every other game has been a win. The 49ers have been extremely mediocre for this season, and they're going against, once again, the NFL's easiest schedule. Now, I guess if you want to be hopeful about the 49ers getting the playoffs, you would say that the rest of their schedule is also very easy. They have the Cardinals, who looked horrible today, just like the Niners looked horrible. They have the Panthers. Panthers, I actually think, have a good record, but the NFL is crazy this year. So they have the Panthers, they have the Browns. Right now, if you look at the playoff standings, the 49ers are not in. They're not a wild card. They're left out of the playoff standings. But it's very possible that the 49ers get to the playoffs. But in my opinion, this team is an immediate first-round exit. And where I get the most frustrated looking at this game and looking at the NFL this year, where the league is so wide open. The Bills are losing. The Panthers are winning. There's so much variety. There's not like the top teams aren't excellent in the way that we would expect. Right now, I would say the Lions are one of the best teams. I would say the Rams are one of the best teams. I think Matthew Stafford is in the MVP conversation. His 6 touchdowns today sure helped him. I think 2 of those were on the ground, actually. 4 touchdowns, but still, he had an incredible day today. There's a lot of variability in the NFL right now, and that just makes it even more disappointing that the 49ers did not make a trade at the trade deadline. The fact that, this game, it was a loss in the first 10 minutes. If you rewatch that first quarter, you're going to go, oh, the 49ers are going to lose this game. But I guess it made it a good game, but it was also like heartbreaking because, in my opinion, I thought the Niners were going to lose the whole time, even when they made several comeback attempts. But what's annoying is they really did get it within one score multiple times. And if they could just have a little bit more help on defense, if they could have just scored, not had a fumble from Juwan Jennings, just scored one more touchdown on offense, this could be a totally different game. They would have gone for it on 4th down right before halftime. I think the Kyle, that move was cowardice. The fact that he did not go for it there. I know sometimes, you want to play it safe. You don't want to turn the ball over. Just want to get into halftime. You're going to get the ball back. But the 49ers needed points right there. And what did they have to lose? The Rams were winning. Like, the Rams were going to win. In my opinion, the only way to win this game was to be aggressive on offense. The defense showed you it's not stopping shit. Okay? The back 7 looks horrible. The safeties got exposed. Matthew Stafford was, frying up eggs back there, making eggs Benedict, not even like scrambled eggs. He could read a book. I think he was, let me look at the stats. I think he had 8 out of the entire game, only 8 quarterback hits, almost no pressures, 1 sack. The pass rush is horrendous. Also, by the way, now that Michael Williams is gone, we're really noticing his impact on setting the edge and stopping the run, because the Rams also ran all over the 49ers. But just talking about Stafford, the 49ers could have just gotten one more stop. And I have a hard time. Obviously, when you say they gave up 6 touchdowns, that means the loss is, on the defense to some extent, clearly. But going into this game, like, I have a hard time criticizing Robert Saleh, because what did you expect him to do? He's out every single starting player. He is literally only starting second and third string players. Where I get frustrated, though, with maybe Robert Saleh, maybe this is a John Lynch decision, is where we need to start looking at, like, do the 49ers need a new GM at the end of this year, is the 49ers drafted Jordan James, a running back, and they drafted Nick Martin as the third round pick. Like, that is a high draft pick, and they spent that on Nick Martin instead of taking their growing pains, their lumps, and developing a young defense, which we're going to get into George Kittle later. He talked after the game. He also talked before the game and talked about the offense needing to score more. Like, he said, with all these injuries, Fred Warner's down, Bosa's down, every guy is down. On offense, we need to score. And the defense, this is a defense full of young guys. They need to develop, and like we, meaning the offense, needs to carry the way. And I agree with that sentiment. Where I'm mad is Luke Gifford, a veteran special teamer, a career backup. No offense to him, but get your bag. He's been in the NFL for a long time. Cool. But not a player that he's not developing. He's old. He's a backup. Why are you playing him instead of Nick Martin, who you just spent a third round pick on? How bad does that mean Nick Martin is? Because it's not like this guy, if they were doing everything to win every game possible, and it was all going in for this year, it's okay, and they thought they had a better chance with the veteran. Okay, don't play your young guys. But this guy was getting humiliated on the field. Luke Gifford played horrible. So you thought Nick Martin was going to be worse than that? That guy gave up anytime anyone threw towards him at all, that wide receiver was catching it. That wide receiver was mossing him. He was in the dust. He was horrible. Get him off the field. Do not play him anymore. Also, De'Amara Lenore, after the game, was in the locker room and was it's just one loss. We're still, in the mix. And I guess that's a good mindset to have. Before every game and going on to this before the season started during the offseason, De'Amara Lenore is posting pictures of guys, calling them out, calling them Pussy, pussies, talking shit. And to some extent, you expect your cornerback to talk shit, but you got to back it up, dude. And Lenore is not doing great right now. And it's hard because he's kind of the only competent player in the back seven. So I feel like a lot is being put on him, but he gave up a touchdown and then looked around ooh. And it was no, that was on you, dude. You did that. Now, maybe talk less and focus on stopping touchdowns, tackling, preventing the big play. If you can't do that, let's hear less from you. More action, less talk for right now. I don't know. Maybe you guys will tell me that's a little bit harsh. I really like Lenore. I know people love having a feisty cornerback. You got to have someone who believes in themselves no matter what at that position, because you're going to get burned and you got to be able to bounce back up. But it's just annoying to hear people talk shit when you're losing, dude. This team is bad right now. Stop. Anyways, okay. Where do I want to begin? Maybe I'll look at some comments, but I want to begin at the trade. Why the fuck did why did the 49ers not make a trade at the deadline? Sorry for swearing. I know sometimes some people with their families will listen. Also, for all you regulars in my chat, my dad is usually joining us, but he was at a wedding, so he drove back during the game, recorded it, and is watching the game now. He's actually giving me his live reactions as this happened, but he started the game quarter one, right when the game actually ended. So I texted him. I was like, it's only going to get so much worse. Which I guess it also kind of, you would say it got better to some extent, because they definitely put up a fight. But he said, I just got home. And then in capital letters, F happened. Holy shit, I just saw the Rams' first drive. They didn't even slow down or show any hesitation, walked right down the field. They're clearly the Rams are clearly a better team. They really are, no joking, for real. My dad thinks they need to fire Kyle and move on. This experiment has run its course, and now it's just a really bad breakup happening. They shit the bed. They should have done something at the trade deadline, and that's a fact. So those are my dad's takeaways. He usually gives them in the chat, but he's joining us a little bit late right now. I would say I don't know if I'm on like fire Kyle Shanahan. I think, my dad is usually a little bit more extreme than I am. What I would say is I think that they need to bring in a competent GM who's like, his full thing is general. He's been a scout for many, many years. If you look at the Rams GM, if you look at Les Snead, if you look at the Chiefs GM, Eagles GM, they have guys in there who have worked their entire, career on scouting, watching college, watching the NFL, where, I think that I'm not saying get rid of John Lynch. I think they could promote him to like a president of football operations type guy. They had that when they had Adam Peters from the Commanders. I think that John Lynch brings a competitive spirit to the team that is really valuable. And we know that Kyle really values John Lynch when it comes to talking to the media, because Kyle is anti press conference and needs John Lynch to make things more palatable for him. So I'm not necessarily saying that they need to fire him, but I don't think Kyle should be allowed to have final say when it comes to the guys they're drafting. And I honestly don't think John Lynch is the guy right now either. They've struggled. They're on year 8. I saw people are talking about Lombardi. He wrote some article for the newspaper he writes in and said something like, well, this is year 1 of the new rebuild under Brock Purdy. And I think that's bullshit. You don't just get to decide it's a new year 1. Like, they're on year 9. What? Like, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have been with this team. They have developed this team. They have gone to the Super Bowl with this team. Like, they are in this position because they have decided to keep certain core players. They've decided to draft certain young players. In my opinion, they did not have a clear strategy coming into this year. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't go all young. They didn't get younger. They're not playing. Nick Martin is not on the field. Jordan James is not on the field. Those are 2 draft picks that are not playing right now, both in positions, like playing positions that need to be on the team. They are asking. The 49ers need a competent linebacker right now. So there's no reason that Nick Martin shouldn't be playing. If you go over to running back, Christian McCaffrey averaged 2 yards a carry in this game. Like, he's great in the passing game. He sucked against the run today. Luckily, they used Brian Robinson a little bit. That was effective. Do that more. It also ended up getting Christian McCaffrey open for a pass when they were using Robinson in the running game. So, you can be more creative and kind of catch defenses off guard by utilizing Brian Robinson more. But why would you not also use Jordan James more? I mean, he was a very effective running back at Oregon, and they used their high draft pick on him. This is like the is it the 4th running back in a row? If this running back doesn't work out, the 4th running back that they've drafted either in the 3rd or the 4th round that is not working out, is not just literally not seeing playing time, and then what, going to get cut next year? I don't know. So I find the way that this team has been structured and set up to be pretty frustrating. And I think that the 49ers kind of waving the white flag at the trade deadline and not making a move when they could have got a pass rusher. They could have brought in a more competent safety. They could have brought in, I would say a wide receiver. But honestly, the 49ers won the game against the Rams the first time around, passing to Kendrick Bourne and Jake Tondes. Those players got no targets today. So part of that is like Kyle doing a bad job at like game planning. He gets He gets Christian McCaffrey back. He gets George Kittle back. George Kittle went off. He had a great game. But, like, in order to get some pressure off of him, in the same way that I just said when Brian Robinson was in the game, it opened up the field for Christian McCaffrey more. Do the same thing with Kittle. Like, put Jake Saunders on the field. The Rams were playing with 3 tight ends on the field multiple times. Why would the 49ers not do that? I mean, it was working for the Rams. And then Juwan Jennings, like, I know he scored a touchdown. I saw him talk after the game. He said, the fumble wouldn't happen again. He's had a really up and down year and a lot of mistakes. And I think that it's kind of inexcusable to keep going back to him when, in my opinion, him and Kendrick Bourne are very similar, like kind of wide receiver 3 types. And Kendrick Bourne went off against the Rams the first time that the 49ers faced the Rams. And he's a big reason why the 49ers won that game. He went for like 140. And they didn't target him. I think he had like 1 catch. Let me get his actual catches. Receiving, like I said, Kittle went off receiving. He was the leading receiver. Yeah, Kendrick Bourne had 1 catch for 19 yards. Why go to that guy more? George Kittle, he averaged almost 10 yards, a catch. He had 9 receptions for 84 yards. Now, Juwan Jennings had a touchdown, multiple catches, but I really feel like his attitude and the fumbles and he had a 3-play sequence where he dropped the ball, committed a penalty, fumbled the ball. Like, had the target, didn't catch it, so it was incomplete. Offense goes again, penalty. Offense goes again, fumbles the ball. And it's like, okay, well, get the fuck off the field. Sorry to say it so aggressively, but it's like, and then he came back and he scored a touchdown and everyone was like, oh, he made up for it. And it's like, did he? Because Kyle got him wide open in the end zone. And he ruined the offensive drive before. What if he just caught the ball the first time, scored on that drive, and then the next time, also, like, they were down. He wasted, in my opinion, a drive and a touchdown for the 49ers by turning the ball over there. So, let's talk about Mac Jones. I thought Mac Jones played excellent today. And I think I saw, once again, Lombardi, not to bring him up again, say, the 49ers miss Brock's mobility, blah, blah. First of all, I thought Mac showed that he was mobile at certain times. He threw on the run about 3 or 4 times. But he really executed, in my opinion, the game plan well. The penalties were not on him. He did have 1 turnover that was ugly. I thought the 49ers should have gone for it right before halftime on 4th down. I thought Mac was getting in a really good rhythm. Those 2-minute drills he's really good at. I don't know why the 49ers always play so slow, because when they go 2-minute drill, honestly, no matter who the quarterback is, I say this back with Brock Purdy too. Although Brock Purdy started throwing interceptions in the 2-minute drill, so maybe that's why they moved off of it a little bit. But I thought Mac Jones was playing very, very well. He was 33 out of 39. So, he had 128 passer rating, which is excellent. He threw for 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then his 1 interception. So I don't know. I think that's a really good stat line. I don't know how much more you can ask from Mac Jones. They weren't on the field for very long, and the defense couldn't stop anything. So I feel like, you know what I mean? If the defense gets a stop, the Rams scored 42 points. And if Juwan Jennings doesn't drop the ball, maybe the 49ers score 30, within the 30s. I'm getting all stuffed up here. I wanted to see, let's look at Matthew Stafford, because people are saying that he's in the MVP conversation. He actually had a lower completion percentage than Mac Jones did, but he didn't throw an interception. And obviously protecting the football is number one. Matthew Stafford, 49ers defense allowed him to complete 24 of 36 of his passes. He threw for 280 yards. Like I said, they ran the ball really well. They were very balanced. The 49ers were higher in passing because they were down so much that you have to pass more when you're down to try to get back into the game. He threw for 4 touchdowns and had a QB rating of 127. 127. Mac Jones' QB rating was 115 because of that interception. But yeah, let me know if you how you grade Mac Jones's performance. I'd probably give it a B+. I mean, he can't turn the ball over, but I think for everything he was asked to do, he executed at extremely high level. Kyle Shanahan had a ton of praise for him after the game. Right before the game, Adam Schefter came out and said if Mac Jones was going to win this game, that the 49ers would not go back to Brock Purdy this season. Now, they lost the game, but they didn't lose because of Mac Jones. After the game, Kyle was asked about Purdy's injury and said that he would not be 100% at all for the rest of the season. Do not expect Brock Purdy to be 100%. He did say that most players are not 100% during the season, and that at some point they're going to need to play Brock Purdy even though he's not 100%. Kyle said they don't want to make the mistake that they did with playing Brock Purdy against the Jaguars, where he wasn't 100% and they pushed him to go out there and he injured himself even more. Now, Kyle said that Brock Purdy is much healthier than he was going into that Jags game, so he does have a chance to play next week. He was able to be activated today. He was cleared to be the second string quarterback, but Kyle did not activate him and basically said that they're not going to activate Brock Purdy to be the second string quarterback. Like, if he's activated, he's going to be starting. He'll either be not starting at all, meaning like you're not healthy enough to start, or if you're healthy enough to go, then you're going to be starting. So it's my prediction that I don't think Brock's going to play next week because I think Mac had a really good game, even though the 49ers lost. But I could be wrong. Let me see. What are you guys making fun of? Are you guys being nice to Julie? I don't like if you're not being nice to Julie. I'm gonna put you on timeout. Vic in the fourth. Glad I follow her, meaning Julie or me? I hope you follow us both. Is D Winters a liability? The whole defense is a liability, someone says. I kind of agree with that. I think D Winters is decent. He's probably he's like a number 2 linebacker. He's starting caliber, but I don't think he's he's not making up for the loss of Fred Warner at all. And it didn't help that it was Curtis Robinson in for the majority of the game because what's his name got injured. Tatum Bethune got injured during the game. So they had Curtis Robinson in, and then at one point Tatum Bethune came back into the game. But they really, really struggled with that. By the way, I did listen to Kyle Shanahan talk after the game. There was no additional injuries added to the injury report from the game, which is like the first time in this entire season that we've heard that. So the 49ers lose, but they don't add to their injury list. Oh, see, my dad is here. Oh, thank you so much for sharing the live. My dad is in, like I said, he's very hot, so you can see him in the comments. Okay. Let me see. This is what I wanted to talk about. So, when we think about the 49ers and the fact that should they have made a trade, they did not make a trade. You not only had Matthew Stafford with his 4 touchdowns, but you had Kyren Williams. The 49ers really got ran all over. And I think where you're noticing, or where the drop-off is there, is you're noticing that Michael Williams, a lot of people were giving him shit because he was not rushing the passer. especially when Nick Bosa went down. The 49ers have not been able to sack the quarterback since Nick Bosa went down, to be honest. But I was saying, like, he's 20 years old. They drafted him to be an edge setter in college. He stopped the run. He's supposed to develop his pass rush skills, but I didn't anticipate that we were going to see that from Michael until next year. Now, unfortunately, he's injured, so probably going to be even longer than that. But what we were seeing from him was he was slowing down the opposing team's ability to run on the 49ers. And this is why I wish the 49ers would have traded for someone to stop the run, because Kyren Williams ran all over the 49ers. He had 14 carries for 73 yards, 2 touchdowns. Devontae Adams had 6 receptions for 77 yards, 1 touchdown. That's, oh my God, they allowed 7 touchdowns to the Rams. You're going to lose that game most of the time. I appreciate that George Kittle really, really, in my opinion, played till the very end of the game. Now, I don't know if that's smart. Like, when you're down by 22 in the fourth quarter, maybe Kyle should have taken George Kittle out or taken Chris McCaffrey out of the game, because you're not going to win that game and you can't chance those guys getting hurt. But I do appreciate that George Kittle put his actions where his mouth is. You know, I was saying Deommodore Lenoir has been talking a lot of shit, but he gave up multiple touchdowns in this game and the previous game. No offense, Lenoir. George Kittle went on with Matt Maiocco. He said that it was such a weird, I don't know why George Kittle would do this. And I really like Kittle. But you know when like GMs talk and you can tell it's kind of bullshit because like they're just trying to say whatever makes the team sound good? That's a GM's job, like to be the spokesman, you know, professional, buttoned up spokesperson, make everything sound like it's the right decision, even if it's bullshit. But it's not George Kittle's job to do that. Like, he can be honest. I do think after his career as a football player is over that he probably wants to get into media / like that WrestleMania stuff. But I don't think he has to be a bullshit artist to do that. So Matt Maiocco, he's a reporter that's been with the 49ers for like more than 15 years. Every week he, you know, works for the network that the 49ers hire. And so he gets an exclusive interview with Kyle, and Kyle kind of bullshits for 10 minutes and then leaves. Well, normally they don't interview any players, but they had a one-on-one with Kittle this week. And I think it's because Mike Silver, who works for The Athletic and has covered the 49ers for a long time, came out and said that there was a lot of frustration in the locker room that there was no moves made at the trade deadline by the 49ers. Essentially, they kind of said, you know, we're going to let this play out, see what these guys can do, but we're not risking any future assets on this team because we don't think this team's going to win a Super Bowl, so it's not worth it. Because if you think your team's going to win a Super Bowl or has the possibility of winning the Super Bowl, you think F them picks. You know, you think, who cares about 2027? I'm going to win a Super Bowl in 2026. I know it's in February, so technically it'll be 2027, but I'm going to win a Super Bowl in 2026 season. Who cares about the season after that? Who cares about the season after that? That's how the Rams won their Super Bowl. That's what a lot of teams do. If you look at the Eagles, they're constantly turning over picks. Now, they also a lot of times hit on their draft picks, which helps. But when you look at the Rams, they were going through a period of time where they were not drafting well. They are now, but like 5 years ago, they were not drafting well. So they just started giving away their picks and trading for well-known, established, like, this guy is definitely going to be good. We have no idea if the guy we draft is ever going to live up to, you know, Quincy Williams, who is a guy that the 49ers could have gone out and got and then didn't. Anyway, so Matt Maiocco interviews George Kittle as some sort of like PR spin to be like, hey, don't listen. You know, the players aren't mad. You know, they're not feeling defeated. Because you have to think about it. Like, if you're Christian McCaffrey, if you're Trent Williams, one of these older players, like, this is a lot of wear and tear and beat down on your body. And you have to hype yourself up to like go 100%, like, to keep your mind in it, to not be protecting yourself on plays and like making what they call like a football decision to protect yourself. Like, no, I'm laying it all out there. I'm going to be as physical as possible. That you have to feel like your team is trying to compete for something to do that. If you think like, hey, the front office just waved the white flag, if they don't believe in us, why should I believe in us? And Mike Silver made it seem like a lot of the players were questioning what the hell the 49ers were doing. And so I don't think it's coincidental that then 2 days later, Matt Mayoko has George Kittle on. And he asked George Kittle, like, hey, in 2023, you predicted, apparently, I wasn't around, but apparently George Kittle predicted that the 49ers were going to go out and trade for Christian McCaffrey and was really happy, obviously, when they did. And so he said, hey, you predicted that. Like, did you have any guys in mind that you were hoping the 49ers were going to go out and pick? And were you disappointed that they didn't make any moves? And George Kittle said, no. I didn't expect them to do anything this year. Which to me is like, why not? This is the bet. Why not do it this year? Like, I think if you're listening, an answer that might come to your head is the 49ers have tons of injuries. It's clearly not their year. But look around the league. I mean, let me look at the playoff matchup right now. The freaking Green Bay Packers are division leaders, and they only have 5 wins. The Buccaneers are 6-3, division leaders. The Seahawks are fucking incredible, actually. They're 7-2. That's great. The Eagles are 7-2. But then let's look at the wild card. 6-3. Bears 6-3 wild card. Lions 6-3 wild card. Like, there's a lot of I mean, where this is okay, this is the NFC. But 49ers right now 6-4. Now, to be fair, some of these teams still need to have their bye week, or have already had their bye week, and the 49ers haven't had theirs yet. But you're saying that the 49ers couldn't have made a move that made them better than the Bears? I don't know. What do you mean not this year? This is the 49ers have beaten the Seahawks. The Seahawks, like I just said, they're incredible. The 49ers beat them. I think they're going to lose to them next time after watching them the last couple of weeks. But, like, why as a player, why as the front office would you give up when the best team in your division you've already beaten? You shouldn't feel defeated. You shouldn't not go trade for a player. The Super Bowl is at Levi's. I don't know. I think it was a bad decision. Maybe you guys disagree. I understand that you don't want to trade away a ton of future assets and, ruin future seasons in order to try to compete this season if you're just going to lose anyways. And maybe there's no trades that they could have made that would have made up for the loss of Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, all that. But they couldn't have had someone who helped. I mean, they were within winning. They were within one score of this game. They couldn't have gotten a guy who would help them score one touchdown or would hold the Rams back one touchdown. I kind of think that's bullshit. Like, I think that's selling themselves short to say that they couldn't have made a move. But maybe I'm wrong. Jermaine Johnson of the Jets, he's a linebacker that has worked really well in the past with Robert Saleh. The 49ers needed a linebacker. Nick Martin was not on the field. Go, instead of holding on to your third round pick and then drafting a guy like Nick Martin who doesn't play for an entire year, go get a guy who has already been proven to be successful with Robert Saleh. But so I was a little bit frustrated with that. What I will say is I thought that, because I want to be a little bit positive, I thought the offensive line did decent for Mac Jones compared to other years. Now, obviously, they're still, in my opinion, not a good offensive line, but I thought this was one of their better weeks. They weren't great like holding up for the run. Like I said, Christian McCaffrey really, really struggled. Brian Robinson looked electric. I don't know why Kyle Shanahan refuses to utilize him more. This is kind of the way that I would hope that the 49ers would divide carries. I think Christian McCaffrey had 12 carries And let me see. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah. So Brian Robinson had 8 carries. Christian McCaffrey had 12. Mac Jones had 1. I would like that matchup moving forward. I think the whole running Christian McCaffrey 25, 30 times a game for 2 yards is stupid, and it's tons of wear and tear on his body. And like I said, Brian Robinson averaged more than double what Christian McCaffrey averaged. And that doesn't, by the way, mean that he's a better running back than Christian McCaffrey, but they keep running Christian McCaffrey to the sideline where they were running Brian Robinson downhill. So maybe if you're going to run Christian McCaffrey, you should switch up how you run him, because clearly the Rams defense knew that was coming and knew how to stop it. Christian was also great in the pass game. He was their, 3rd overall pass catcher. D. Winters had 5 sacks, so that's good. There was lots of mismatches, though. Renardo Green was covering Devontae Adams at one point. That was horrible. Like I said, Luke Gifford was out there. Upton Stout has had 3 bad games in a row back to drafting. Don't love the Upton Stout thing right now. But yeah, George Kittle said before the game the 49ers offense could easily score 30 to 40 points for the rest of the season, and that they would step up for the defense. To me, that's putting your foot in your mouth. And once again, it's not George Kittle's fault, because he played really well and he did everything he could to live up to that. But maybe don't go on record and say, we don't need to make trades. We're totally fine. We're going to easily score 30 to 40 points. What the hell tells you that? You haven't done that at all this season. You also barely did that last season. This has been multiple seasons of the 49ers trying to win games scoring 16 points. If Kyle could choose how to win a game, it would be the defense doesn't allow the other team to score any points at all, and the offense runs the shit out of the ball and scores 10 points, and they win that way. To me, that's a boring game. But that's how Kyle likes to win. So for Kittle to come out and say, no, we didn't need to make a trade. We can easily score 30 to 40 points. Hey, no, you can't. You didn't do that, and no, you can't. That is not something this offense does at all. I wish it does. He's right that they should do that. Once again, the defense was horrible. They gave up 7 touchdowns. I don't know what people expect from Robert Saleh to do. At some point, they're playing with Devontae Adams, who's going to the Hall of Fame. They're playing with Puka Nacua, who's been incredible for 4 seasons. Matthew Stafford, who's on an MVP level, and they're playing against 2nd and 3rd string players. I'm not shocked that matchup. My friend texted me and said, girl, we need to make you stickers. I'm at Willoughby's so often, and there's a 49ers game on, and I was telling people about your channel, and if I was like, here's a sticker of my hot friend, she's a football expert, watch her, you'd get more subscribers. Aren't my friends so sweet? That is, I like that I get such support from my friends. But what 49ers game? Are they just replaying the game? She said she's in Santa Rosa somewhere. Don't go stalk my friend. But she's in Santa Rosa somewhere, and apparently they're playing the 49ers game. I think there's a Sunday night football game that's on. Who's playing right now? I don't know. But anyways, I thought George Kittle put his foot in his mouth. I thought he played really well today, but I think it's stupid to come out and announce that the 49ers are going to score 30 to 40 points when you can't do that. Someone said Eddie P had a block point. I don't know. That's a first block point, missed extra point, field goal, whatever. Eddie Pinheiro has been 100 on 100 with everything he's done since joining. He's allowed to have 1 block, in my opinion. This loss is not on Eddie Pinheiro. Steelers versus Chargers. Interesting. I wonder, are the Chargers winning? I feel like I wrote Aaron Rodgers off 7 years ago when he started being a flat earther weirdo. But then randomly, I think he's kind of been good on the Steelers this year, but I don't pay attention to the Steelers I don't know why. I know that Mike Tomlin is like a coach that everyone loves. I just find them kind of boring. Is that bad? I went to Pittsburgh in 2023 when the 49ers had that game, and I actually thought Pittsburgh was a very beautiful, like, when you come in from the airport, you like come down. It's kind of like in this oasis. There's like mountains that surround it, and it's like down at the bottom, and there's lots of rivers and bridges. I thought it was very beautiful. It would suck if you went like in the winter. I feel like it'd be very cold, but I went in like early September, and it was very nice. So anyways, let me look at my topics and see what I've gone through. So I said 49ers should have used a trade. Kittle / the offense. Offense needs to be able to carry the defense. They've shown that they're incapable of doing that so far. Also, to be fair, like I'm not trying to say that it's okay that the defense gave up 42 points. I think the offense needs to be able to score 30 points to be able to win. Like sometimes if you look around the league, there's multiple games every single week where offenses are scoring 35 to 40 points and they need to score that to win. But at the same time, I think it's fair to expect that the defense only gives up 25 to 30 points. I think that's, like they really were horrible. They got dog walked today. It was Robert Saleh's worst performance of his career, I would say. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. Now, I don't think that's totally his fault because who the fuck is he playing with? But you got to do something. I don't know if you need to blitz more. He tried to simulate some pressure, but I mean, like I said, it's like, of course they're going to score almost 50 when Matthew Stafford, who, has a Hall of Fame level arm and 2 incredible wide receivers and a run game, and he has no pressure on him at all. Like, I was impressed for the, 2 or 3 times that they did get a stop. Because for most of the game, it was like, they're not going to get a stop at all. Like, the 49ers need to score every single time they touch the ball because that's what the Rams are going to do. So the few times that they did get a stop, I was like, Robert Saleh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But yeah, I mean, they have to have a better strategy going into next week. One good thing about the Cardinals is they also, I think, lost to like, what was that score? It was also like 40 to something, right? And are they benching? I think they're benching. Okay, so they played the Seahawks today, and they scored 22. Very similar. Wow, 2 division games. 49ers losing by almost 20 or more than 20 points. And then also the Cardinals losing by 20 points, 22 to 44. Seahawks just demolishing. Way to go, Sam Darnold. So the division goes Seahawks number 1 with 7 wins, 2 losses. Then Rams 7-2. Rams 7-2. They're the 2 seed. Then SF 6-4, and then the Cardinals 3-6. Damn, Cardinals. I think they're going to move on from Kyler Murray. I don't know if they're going to let go of Jonathan Gannon because a lot of their losses have been within like 3 points, and I don't necessarily think it's the defense's fault, and he's a defensive coordinator. But who knows? They might want to just full fire sale the whole thing. Okay. But yeah. And then Brock update. Like I said, Kyle, let me find the exact quote, but Kyle said that there's a chance that Brock Purdy could go this week. He could have gone today as the second string quarterback, but they didn't want to put him out there. They're basically in a situation where they're either going to completely protect him and not activate him at all, or he's going to start. They're not going to put him in a situation where he's a backup who could potentially start. Like if their starter goes down, if Mac Jones gets hurt and goes down, they're saying we're going to lose that game. We're not going to risk throwing Brock Purdy on a hobbled toe out there. Now, he did admit that Brock Purdy is going to be injured for the entire season. So at some point, they're going to put him out there when he's not quite 100%, but they're hoping he's healthy enough. And Kyle Shanahan said there's a chance that could be this week. But they've said that every week for the last 3 weeks, and Brock Purdy has not even been activated for the game. So I'm thinking that they're going to stick with Mac Jones. Before the game, Adam Schefter said if Mac Jones won, that Purdy wouldn't be seen at all for the rest of the year. Mac Jones lost, but he was 33 out of 39. Like, he had almost 100% completion percentage. He had one interception that was bad, but he executed the 2-minute drill well. He threw the ball. The one miss I would say was Tom Brady kind of highlighted it. Brian Robinson was open down the middle, and he tried to force it to, was that Jennings or Kittle, kind of to the sideline, and that was a pretty bad incompletion on third down. But I thought 9 out of 10 of his decisions, and obviously it was more than 10, but 9 out of 10 of his decisions I thought were pretty good. He even was mobile when he had to be. And he's not a mobile player. I'm not trying to say he's mobile, but he moved a little bit, executed the system pretty well, and got the ball out really quickly. Mac Jones is averaging a higher rate of getting. Mac Jones is getting the ball out quicker at a higher percentage than Brock Purdy has at any point in his career. This season and last season, Brock Purdy held on the ball way longer. But even if you go back to 2023 and Brock Purdy's first season as well, he was still holding on to the ball for over 2.7 seconds, which is above league average. League average is 2.4 seconds. So 2.7 is significantly higher. Mac Jones is getting the ball out in under 2.5. So he's below or closer to NFL average, and that helps with this offensive line. Like, they're breaking down, but they can kind of hold up for, okay, 1, 2, 3, I'm holding, and then I'm breaking down. Oh, but it doesn't matter because the ball's already out. So I don't think that they're going to go to Mac this week, but I could be wrong, and I'm open to being wrong. It'll be interesting to see. He did get hit quite a bit, Mac Jones, today. So tomorrow, Kyle Shanahan at 3:30 is going to do a press conference. It'll be interesting, to see if there's any injuries that come up on the injury report. Like I said, post-game, this is the first game since this season has started that there hasn't been injuries that happened during the game. So we'll have to see on Monday if some pop up. Thank you so much, Darrell Reed. I really appreciate it. I try to be honest, but I'm also by the way, not trying to be too negative. I thought I thought the 49ers were going to lose this game, but that's not me being negative. I'm just trying to be realistic. It wasn't this is why I wanted them to make moves at the trade deadline, because the 49ers were just it was a mismatch. They're going against a higher caliber team. It was hard for them to win earlier this season, and they had a healthy Nick Bosa. They had a Fred Warner. So, if it was hard when their all-pros and Hall of Fame players were playing, it was only going to be harder, in my opinion, this week. You know what I mean? So it was kind of a long shot that they were going to win no matter what. I was excited when they kind of looked like they were putting some drives together, but it just felt they would make a positive move and you'd be yeah, and then immediately it's oh, it wasn't good enough, and now the Rams scored another touchdown. There was a certain point in the football game in the third and fourth quarter where it felt like they were going to have to score, they being the 49ers offense, were going to have to score on every single drive because the Rams were scoring on every single drive and the 49ers were still playing catch up. But yeah, I wish that the 49ers maybe went to Brian Robinson a little bit more because he performed really great. I wish that they went to Jake Tonjes just to add a surprise element a little bit. I thought George Kittle was great, and they didn't really get him involved in the first quarter. He really took over the game in the when he was targeted, but he wasn't targeted until I might have tweeted about it because he had talked about that with Matt Mayoko, and I was oh my God, he just talked a big talk, and they're not he doesn't even have a catch. So I don't know if I can figure out exactly when he was. Let me really quickly try to. Yeah, the 49ers. Okay, 49ers are down 14 points. So the Rams had already scored 2 touchdowns, and George Kittle had not received 1 target yet. To me, that's unacceptable. And that's on Kyle Shanahan. Like I said, the 49ers were outmanned. Like, they had less talent, but they could have won if Kyle and Robert Saleh had better game plans. Why did George Kittle not touch the ball in the first quarter? Like, he was on fire today. Get him 12 targets. If a player is catching every single one of their targets, keep going to that player. Don't try to force the ball to Juwan Jennings. You know what I mean? Like, they won the game. They beat the Rams throwing to Kendrick Bourne. Now, I don't think Kendrick Bourne's the best player ever, but if he goes off against the Rams, give him the ball against the Rams. You know what I mean? Like, to me, you're like biting your own tail off, or whatever that saying is, to not do what works. By the way, I just saw I have a super chat, so I want to read that because I don't. Okay, it hasn't been too long. I try to read these right away, and I just saw it, so I feel bad that I didn't get to it sooner. But it just says, "Ben, thank you so much. Like and subscribe, please. Helps me out. Helps me and my channel out. I appreciate it." We have the Cardinals game. Ugh. Guys, usually I travel with my friend to the games, but I've been really sick. I had an ear infection. I went to Houston. I went to Tampa. I went to Houston. I went to New York, and I've had a great time, but I feel really, really run down. And so but part of me wants to go to Arizona because it's supposed to be hot and it's supposed to rain in the Bay Area. So part of me wants to go to the Cardinals game, but then we're coming back. Either way, I'll go live during it. If I'm in Arizona, I'll go live. But if I'm here, I'll also go live. But not sure what I'm doing yet against Arizona. But then the following week it's a Monday night game against the Panthers, and it's my dad's birthday around that. It's a couple days before that, but it's my dad's birthday, so I'm gonna go to the game. It's gonna be my first game that I'm like actually there at the game in the seats as a fan, not as press. So that'll be exciting. Everyone wish my dad a happy birthday in 2 weeks. So I'll let you guys know closer to then. It's also like, I'm really lucky. It's Thanksgiving week. It goes my best friend Bean's birthday, my best friend, or no, it's Bean, my best friend Bean birthday. Then literally the very next day, it's my dad's birthday. And then it's my best friend Lacey's birthday, 3 days in a row. And then it's Thanksgiving. It's like 5 days where it's like, I just feel like the most thankful person ever. Because I'm like, oh my God, all the people I love and the holiday that's about thanks and being grateful is all in this very small time. So gonna be doing that. I think I'm gonna close it out here because I'm gonna get some dinner. Mac was cooking today, been cooking for weeks. Yeah. I completely agree. I don't think you can bench him right now. I would like go. If they make a decision on if they're going to play Mac versus play Brock Purdy, I'll go live whenever that happens. If they bench Mac right now with how well he's playing, they have to be damn sure that Brock Purdy's going to look good, because you have to think about it. Like, Mac Jones is playing well. He's not turning the ball over for the most part. He's scoring multiple touchdowns. Like, they have to be confident, one, that Brock Purdy's toe is going to be okay for him to play on. And, like, he's not going to look bad. He's going to be mobile, because that's what everyone's saying. Is like, they need to bring Brock back. Even though he holds on to the ball long, which makes the offense look worse, he does run around, which can help him avoid that. But if his toe is still hurting, can he run as much? Because if he can't run as much and he's just a sitting duck, if Mac would have been in this game, he would have gotten killed. Because Mac Jones had to get the ball out quick. Like, the Rams' defensive line was in his front, like in his face multiple times. He threw this one pass to George Kittle. It was an excellent throw by Mac and an excellent catch by George Kittle. But I don't know how and I hate to talk about the refs, but the refs were calling multiple penalties on the 49ers, some of which were bullshit, and they were not calling anything on the Rams. And Matt Jones was getting abused. Like, you're supposed to, once you get the ball out, the reason I keep saying, like, a skill set of Mac is that he gets the ball out quickly, is as soon as you throw the ball, you're not allowed to be touched. You're not supposed to be able to get hit. The Rams defense was friggin' hitting Mac Jones. Jared Verse was hitting Mac Jones, and it was not getting called. And I thought that was kind of a little BS, you know. I try not to blame the refs for anything, but some of those calls go a different way, and the 49ers also could have won, because like I said, they were within one score at a certain point. So, yeah, they better not. But refs were trash. Glad you agree. They better not bench Mac Jones for Brock Purdy. Yeah, I just think like they'd have to be so confident that he was healthy enough to play, that he wouldn't re-injure himself, but also that he's healthy enough that he would look good, because fans would turn on the 49ers if they go to Brock Purdy and all of a sudden Brock Purdy against the Cardinals throws 2 interceptions and they lose. It's like, well, you could have won that game with Mac Jones. You know how I said going into this game, I thought they were going to lose to the Rams? No offense to them. Like, I hoped they would win, but I was like, if we're being honest, the skill set, it's going to be hard. They could win. I wasn't like against them winning, but I was like, it's going to be tough. I think the 49ers are going to beat the Cardinals, not to get ahead of myself, but I definitely think they're going to beat the Cardinals. So if they go to Brock and they lose the Cardinals, people are going to be pissed. What's good, Faithful? Have to say is I'm invested mentally, physically, and ready for next season. You're talking like the 49ers front office right now, not making any moves. What the hell? KB should have gotten more touches. Hey, you're joining. I'm about to end the stream, but I talked all about this. The 49ers won the game against the Rams earlier this season, throwing to Kendrick Bourne. He went off for like 140 yards. I don't think Kendrick Bourne's some superstar, but he did well against the Rams earlier this season. I think he should have been given more targets. 49ers are a better road team. That's interesting. I'll have to look. Do they have more wins on the road this season than they do at home? That's shitty, because season tickets keep going up at Levi's. Those prices are expensive. They got to play well at home. I hate to be one of those people, but like they increased all the tickets for fans to want to go to games so that they could put Wi-Fi in for the Super Bowl, and they're not making moves to try to go to the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, the Yorks are, bringing in $1 billion. Like, hey, maybe stop trying to save money and be cheap with your players. Go get some players. So, anyways, really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this hour. Let me know, how do you rate the defensive performance? Do you blame Robert Saleh, or is it one of those situations where his hands are tied and you more blame, even though it was the defense that did poorly, do you blame Saleh or do you blame Lynch for not making a move and giving Saleh more help? Does that make sense? Let me know who you blame on the defense being bad. Maybe it's both, by the way. And let me know how you rate Mac Jones' performance. Like I said, he had, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception? I don't want to. Yeah. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was 33 for 39, so over 100% or over 115 quarterback rating. He's been playing, in my opinion, pretty well. I would give him, I think, a B plus. I want to say A-, but I think when you turn the ball over, you can't get an A when you turn the ball over. Even though I don't blame him. I think the game was kind of over before that even happened, and it was on 4th down. The thing with Brock Purdy, sorry to bring this back to this, but Brock Purdy sometimes will turn the ball over on 1st down. Like, you do not need to take a chance right there. Just live to the next game. This was 4th down. Like, they needed a play. He was just trying to make something happen, in my opinion. So if you're gonna turn the ball over, like, you were already gonna punt it to them, whatever, try to make it work. You know what I mean? I kind of hate when players take a sack and they just, it's like, you didn't even try? You just took a sack? I don't know. Ram fan joining us. You guys just got beat. You beat us last time. I know, we beat you throwing to Kendrick Bourne and Jake Tonjes. And for some reason, those players, Kendrick Bourne got one catch against you today, and Jake got nothing. Now, George Kittle was playing well, but there's 3 tight end sets for a reason. The Rams were literally playing that. I know. Shinnie played not to lose. Yeah, he was really conservative with not going for it on 4th down there. Like, I think his thing was like, oh, I want to protect. I want to live to just try to get to halftime and get to the 3rd quarter. In a game like this, when you're down this many players, when you literally are the less talented team, you got to take chances. You got to be aggressive. You got to take chances. Look at Detroit. I know Detroit is kind of a better team now, but if you look at Detroit over the past 2 to 3 years, in a lot of games, they were the worst team. They were still in a developmental phase of their team, but they were always going for it on fourth down. They were always going for 2-point conversions. They were aggressive because they needed the magic. You know what I mean? They couldn't just be oh, we're the better team. We just need to play it safe and we're going to win. It's no, you're not the better team right now. But anyways, yeah, Bourne been missing since JJ threw a tantrum. I agree with that, and I hate that. That's what they did last year with Debo. Debo threw a tantrum. They force-fed him the ball. He sucked. Then finally, when the season was over, they started targeting Ricky Pearsall more, and he was way better than Debo. And it's hey, maybe you would have won more games if you didn't wait till the very end of the season to do this and just capitulated to Debo, who's not even on the team this year. Why did you need to make him happy? And that's how I feel about Jennings. No offense, Jennings. He's not going to be on the team next year. You don't need to make him happy. Thanks again. Can't wait to see more of your awesome work. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Robert to blame. Okay, this guy blames Robert. It was bad. I'm excited to go live with Tom because Tom knows a lot more about scheme and stuff. And Tom Jensen from SI will go live on Tuesday, and he'll break down because he's been saying for weeks these 49ers safeties are horrible and that Robert Saleh needs to do a lot more surprise blitzes. He needs to be a lot more creative. So we'll talk about the defensive front that they put on a lot more on Tuesday. But I'll be going live tomorrow too after Kyle Shanahan does his call. Usually at 3:30 Pacific time is when Kyle does his call to talk about injuries and stuff. See someone. People are disagreeing. Is Rob? I'm gonna ask Tom. I'm saying I don't blame Robert. I'm not completely obviously he's a coach. He has to try, but I think they should. I blame John Lynch and the setup of the team and the injuries more than I do Robert. But I'll ask and go over this with Tom on Tuesday. Make sure to give me a like, give me a subscribe. I'll be going live tomorrow to give you guys any injury updates. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me. It's been a fun season so far. Like I said, since week 3, the 49ers have been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So if they continue with that trajectory, it means they should win against the Cardinals next week. And I'm predicting a win. So give me a like, give me a subscribe. Thank you guys so much and have a really safe night and a good stretchy week tomorrow.